Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Compassion and Courage, Conversations in Healthcare. I'm your host, Marcus Engel. Thank you so much for being with me. So if you've ever heard me give a keynote in front of a conference or in front of a hospital, convention, et cetera, you have probably heard me talk about some of my own struggles with emotional health. And you'll also hear me very much advocate for individuals getting good mental health services. Whether it's emotional or mental health, whatever the case may be, I am a huge fan of people taking control of their lives and actually reaching out for professional help. Over the last nearly 30 years, I've spent a great amount of time sitting on the sofas and love seats of counselors and therapists and psychiatrists, psychologists. And it's all towards trying to help myself become the best version of myself. So about a year ago, I was in therapy, and I've had the same therapist now for several years, and fantastic person. And I was telling him of one of my troubles, and he said, Marcus, what you've got to do is slow down. He said, in fact, you don't need to slow down, you need to stop. And he gave me an acronym that I have been thinking of ever since that session. And that acronym is HALT, H-A.L.T. And that is, we have got to stop ourselves when we are feeling hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. That is when we are not at our best. When we are hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, we cannot be our best. We cannot have really great communication skills. We are not adequately rested or refreshed enough to hold a big, heavy, meaningful conversation. And I've thought about that quite a bit over this last year since I learned that acronym, that when things feel like they're chaotic, when things feel like they're in a flurry or in the middle of a tornado, that's the time when we've got to halt. We've got to stop, recollect ourselves, and ask ourselves that question. Am I hungry, angry, lonely, or tired? And if the answer to any of those is yes, then that conversation, that argument, that discussion, that interchange with another human being has to be put off until later. Until we can know ourselves enough to know when we are not in our best frame of mind, that's the time to then delay big, meaningful, powerful, deep conversations until another instance. I've often heard it said, if I say I'm hungry, you've got about 27.5 minutes until I'm a completely different person. And I think that's the way it is for many of us, right? We not only get hungry, we get hangry. We get hangry. And if we've got that hunger and angry mixing together at the front, well, that only leaves lonely and tired. So what I want to encourage you to do is when things feel like they're in a chaotic downspin, remember to stop and ask yourselves, am I one of these four things? Hungry, angry, lonely, or tired? And I think just by pausing in that moment and asking that question, you're going to come to an answer that helps you know what your next move should be. I want to thank you all so much for joining me today for this episode of Compassion and Courage, Conversations in Healthcare. I'll see you on the next episode.